Hi, are you thinking about buying a home in Maryland this year? This report is information you won't find anywhere else. I do it each month and have for the last 10 years. This report's on all of the zip codes and communities in Maryland, and this is a February report. Let's get started on the report for the entire state of Maryland. There are a total of 70 zip codes reported in this monthly report. There is a possibility of 77 total zip codes. It's hard to believe that Maryland has that many zip codes, but they do. Let's take a look next at what the price of a home is in Maryland. Now, I like to use median as a number because that's more accurate than an average, which can be skewed by one large number or one smaller number. So in Maryland today, the median price of a home is $450,000. Now that doesn't sound like a lot of money, especially when 12 months ago it was $430,000, which is a difference of $20,000. But $20,000 is a lot of money, and the $20,000 reflects the 4.7% inflation that Maryland experienced in housing in the last 12 months. Even $20,000 doesn't sound like much, but if you divide it by 12 months, it's $1,667 a month more you would be paying for that same home today that you saw 12 months ago. So this is the impact of inflation. And next year there'll be more housing inflation. And the thing about inflation, which makes it so damaging, is it's compound. So the price increase today is the basis for the price increase due to inflation next year. So the quick message here is, if you're thinking of buying, buy now in Maryland. Inflation was in the threes. In Maryland, the housing inflation was almost 5%. Now, people say, well, gee, interest rates are in the sevens. Actually, my last name is Seven. Not that I like inflation, home interest rates being 7%, but it just makes you think if there's a number 7. Sorry, corny. NBC News is reporting, after a lot of research, that the new normal for home interest rates will be 7% and for quite some time. Now, I talked to a lot of smart people, and that's not me, who are in the mortgage business, and the underlying core inflation is being very stubborn. It's not coming down, not to where the Federal Reserve wants it. So consequently, home interest rates are probably going to stay at 7% for quite a while. The Federal Reserve has already said that they're not going to be reducing rates for several more months because they don't see a reason to. The economy is extremely strong. In fact, the stock market daily hits a new high, and the stock market's been around for decades. So the economy is strong, unemployment is low. We'll most likely see 7% home interest rates for quite some time. One thing that's, I think, of great interest here is if you take a look at the last 12 months, what is the cycle of home sales in the state of Maryland? And this is data you won't find anywhere else. So if we start out here with February of last year, and let me get my head out of the way, another joke, to January, so you have 12 months here. Not surprisingly, we see the most amount of homes being sold in May and June, mostly because kids are soon going to be out of school, summer vacation, and parents are looking for homes to buy or to sell. August is a strong month, but here's something that's interesting, is March is quite strong. In fact, if you take a look at March here and go across, there's only 4 other months that are as high as March. So March is a great month to buy, and that's historically when a lot of people do buy. And of course, as we get to the holiday season, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, we see that those numbers go down. But right now we're on the upward trend as expected in the state of Maryland. Now, here's one fun fact. Every year, the Association of Painters, who develop all these colors we see in Home Depot and Lowe's and other places, pick a color. So this is information you have that you could impress your neighbors with. So the color of the year is peach fuzz. It kind of looks a little pink to me. Yeah. Anyway, that's official. I mean, I'm just reporting the facts here. Here's something that's interesting, and it really speaks to the fact of rising home prices, rising inflation. This slide shows the number of first-time home buyers, and it goes back quite a ways. Let's take a look here to 2003, and we're up to 2022. It takes at least a year to a year and a half for this data to get sorted and reported. So this is the most current data you'll find. The sad thing is, first-time home buyers has dropped to 26% in the most recently reported period. That's unfortunate. It just means first-time home buyers are delaying buying or may never buy. They may continue living with their parents. So that's kind of the state of the economy where we're at right now with inflation. Why are there so few homes for sale? Now, Fortune magazine reported this a few months ago. The number 98% is now 94%. But nevertheless, most homeowners have interest rates less than the current interest rate in the 7s. I was in an open house last weekend, and I was talking to some of the people there, and I said, hey, are you thinking about buying the home I'm listing? And they said, yes, they love the home. I said, do you have a home to sell, or are you renting? They said they had a home, but they weren't going to sell it. And one person said their interest rate was 2.9%. Well, in a previous series, I went through what the analysis of interest rates based on percentage of population of homeowners, and 26% are the number of homeowners in the United States who have interest rates at 3% or less. So if you have a low interest rate home, and let's say you're an older person, maybe you got white hair, why would you sell? So let's say you got 2.9%, like that person I met last weekend. If he sold his home and downsized, and yeah, he was an older person, he might very well, even though downsizing, end up paying a higher mortgage rate because rates are triple, no, maybe 2.5 times more than what they were before. So why would he sell? That's why we don't see many homes in the market. And that's a real problem. Okay, here's a quick chart here, very helpful. It's organized like the dial on your car. And this is an interesting one because it shows the months of supply is we have basically 50% more home supply in Maryland than we'd historically expect over a 5-year period. These reports are something I produce each month. They're no charge, and I've been doing it for 10 years. I do Northern Virginia, 107 zip codes. I do Maryland's 77 potential zip codes, and DC's 22. If you'd like to get this report 3 times a month on these 3 different states, then at the end I have contact information. You can send an email to me and I will add you to that report. By the way, my name is Tobin Seven. I am a principal broker. I own my own brokerage, and I'm licensed in Virginia, Maryland, and DC. Own my own real estate brokerage for the last 6 years, been a realtor for many more years before that. I'm also an Army veteran and an Eagle Scout. So let's keep going on with the report. This is a great report because it shows you some information that you may not be aware of, which will be very valuable for you if you're going to be buying or selling a home. Now, again, we're seeing a 4.7% here. We saw it before. But if we take a look at the median price per square foot, this is information you don't normally see reported. So what the value is for you if you're buying or you're selling, you can take the square foot of the home, divide it by multiply it by $251, and you will get the median price that you should expect to pay in the state of Maryland. Now, you can go with averages if you want to. There's always a little difference because an average can be skewed with a big high number or a lot of low numbers, but median is more accurate. And if you're looking to buy, the median time that a home is on the market before it goes under contract in Maryland is 20 days. That's down by 33%, a third. So what it shows you is there's an excess inventory of homes compared to historical, but I think more people are in the marketplace. Anyway, this data is really great here, especially the average median price per square foot. This shows this is the state of Maryland, most recent data. We don't have data yet for February because it takes quite a while for the data to be published. But we're pretty much even here as we were with 2023. So it looks like 2024 is shaping up to be very much like 2023. Then on my report, now I'm not doing all 70 zip codes here because it's a PowerPoint and all that, but this is what part of my report looks like, which you'll be getting free. So it's all 70 zip codes, and you get the difference between this year and last year, what the median price is, year to date, and the change. This is great data. So if you're looking at a certain neighborhood, let's say you have kids. I had several kids. Schools were important when I was younger. Kids have all since moved on and got married. But we'd look at the schools, and that was great. And it's easy to find school data. You can go to greatschools.org, which is the government's comparison for all 50 states. But the challenge is, what about the individual zip codes? So this report gives you information you won't find anywhere else. And the final slide is, oh my gosh, what changed? Am I growing a mustache? I don't know, maybe we won't keep it. Here's my contact information. My website is, actually it's www.soldby7.com. This is from a live site, so you can't click on that. My email address is my first name, Tobin, at soldby7. Here's one other thing. Always trust the hand. If you buy or sell with me, 25% of my commission at settlement goes to you. And I can do that because I own the brokerage. Give me a call. You got my cell phone number there, and or email me. But this is a report I do 3 times a month. Virginia, Maryland. My next report will be on DC, and I hope to give you information that's valuable to you. Also, one other thing, you may want to consider subscribing to this YouTube channel because you'll get all my updates. I'm doing 2 YouTube videos each week on real estate in the United States, but more specifically and focused on the DMV, DC, Maryland, and Virginia.